Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today I'm going to walk you through every phase of the usage, care, and maintenance of your Bell & Ross instrument BR0393-GMT. Now, this is an automatic winding watch by means of the unseen case-back winding mass. So the kinetic energy of your wrist winds the watch, but if you wish to manually wind it, simply take the crown in the first position flush to the case and turn it in a clockwise direction. Turn it 25 to 35 turns to start the movement. Now you can set the time, set the second time zone, set the date, and the watch will continue to wind itself. Set it and forget it reliable on a daily basis if worn regularly. That said, you can continue winding manually up to the maximum rated power reserve of approximately 40 hours by continuing to turn the crown in a clockwise direction, and you'll find that 45 turns is your rule of thumb. 45 to 50 turns sufficient to energize the watch, or listen for the click or tick of the bridle-style mainspring slipping inside its barrel. This is by design. You cannot accidentally overwind the watch due to the bridle-style mainspring. So choose the rule of thumb or listen for the click of the mainspring when winding to full capacity. There are two setting modes when using the watch, one of which is stop seconds. By pulling the crown out 2 stops, 2 detents from the winding position, you stop the movement. You'll note I stopped the seconds hand at 12 o'clock. This is for a reason. You find an accurate reference, such as an online atomic clock, and what you want to do is set the watch to the same hour as the online atomic clock that sets your time zone. Let's say currently it is 4:11 where I am. I'm going to set my watch to 4:12, and now my reference atomic clock is at most 60 seconds behind. I'm going to wait for it to catch up so that the atomic clock registers the same hour, minute, and second that I've set. I'm lying in wait for the two to match. When they match, push that crown back in, resume the beat of the balance. Now you've synchronized to a reference time. It's also important to note that there's an intermediate position between stop seconds and winding. You want to use that to set both the second time zone as well as the quick set for the date. Regarding the quick set for the date, you turn in a counterclockwise direction to rapidly cycle the date. This is useful should the watch run down or encounter an irregular length month. It's important to never use this function between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. That's a 6-hour span during which the automatic date jumper is engaged, and you want to make sure you never use the quick set in that danger zone, as you can crash the movement by quick setting during an automatic adjustment. So always make sure you know what time of day it is and where your watch is set before you use the quick set. By turning the crown in the opposite direction, clockwise, you will find that you can jump the 24-hour hand independently of the local hour hand in 1-hour steps. Note that the watch continues to keep time. This will not interfere with the chronometric precision of your local time. So you set the 24-hour to a time zone where you are not, because you have that 24-hour single circuit of the dial in a day. You always know, for instance, whether you're looking at 10:13 or 10:13 a.m., for example. So right now we're looking at 10:13 p.m. because the hour hand is just past 22 and we're approaching 10:15. It's also important to note that the local hour hand, the 12-hour hand, is the one that changes the date. That's the one that is coupled to the date on the watch. I'm going to show you something that's important to see, because you need to realize that the setting of the 24-hour hand has no bearing whatsoever on the date. I'm going to roll through an entire 24-hour cycle, and you will see how turning clockwise in that intermediate position quickly steps the orange arrow index. It does not affect the date. Even as I turn through midnight, the date remains the same. And you'll note I can quick set the date the same way by turning counterclockwise. Okay, this is not a rotating GMT bezel. It's simply a fixed 24-hour AM/PM night-day reference. Now, there are screws that hold the strap to the case. Keep in mind this is a leather strap. It's not water resistant. If you wish to change the strap to a water resistant band, only use the correct included Bell & Ross 1.3mm hex tool. It is a high-grade steel tool that will prevent marring of the screws and stripping of the screws. Only use the correct tool to swap out the accessory canvas strap. Now, That said, there are three primary hazards to your watch. We already discussed water. There's also magnetism and shock. But water, because it is such a severe threat to the cosmetic and functional performance of your watch, should be discussed in greater depth. Never expose a leather strap to water. Put it on a water-resistant band. Keep the crown flush to the case. Don't wind it. Don't set the watch, not just while the watch is submerged, but while there's water on the case. The watch is 100 meters water resistant, which per Bell & Ross is sufficient for aquatic activities such as swimming. But this is not a professional dive watch. This is a fixed 24-hour bezel, not a dive bezel. You can help to avoid accidental drownings. Don't use the crown while the watch is wet. And also ensure that every 24 months at minimum you have the watch water tested with a Bell & Ross factory service center, as water resistance is not a static feature of a watch. Over time, seals will age, lubricants will degrade, and the watch will have relatively less water resistance. So have that service performed every 24 months to ensure your watch is still water resistant as rated. This is also a good time to have the total physical condition, water resistance, and chronometric performance of the watch tested to see if you need a complete overhaul. Magnetism can be corrected quickly with specialized equipment at your Bell & Ross factory service center, but magnetism is ubiquitous in life, and you may not realize until your watch runs very slowly or very quickly that your watch has become magnetized. A magnet will change the state of the ferrous hairspring that is at the center of your watch's balance, its heartbeat, and you will have an erratic running watch when it is magnetized, quickly or slowly. Again, specialized equipment at your authorized service center can quickly and easily restore your watch's performance. Just keep the watch remote from the closures of wallets, purses, and refrigerator doors, or powerful standing magnets such as speakers and subwoofers, or powerful electromagnets such as personal devices, wiring harnesses, and wiring looms. Keep the watch remote from shock and concussion. It's important to remember that certain activities can alter the timing of your watch by concussion or stop the watch entirely, even damage the crystal in the case. So disuse the watch during firearms marksmanship, batting, tennis, golf, or the riding of mountain bikes or ATVs. Ultimately, Bell & Ross recommends a comprehensive service every 3 to 5 years. When you have your water resistance tested, that is always a good time, 12 to 24 months in an interval, to have the whole watch evaluated. Now, if a full overhaul is necessary, the strap will be replaced if worn, the case will be restored to its factory appearance, the water resistance will be restored to the factory rating, the movement will be disassembled, each part inspected, and then cleaned, oiled, and adjustment. Service exclusively with the factory or a factory authorized service center, as these agencies solely have the original replacement parts from Bell & Ross, specialized tools, and trained personnel to protect the value of your watch as both instrument and as investment. Moreover, only these agencies can back all parts and labor invested with a Bell & Ross factory service warranty. Finally, visit our website at goffbergwatches.com and call, text, or email our experts who will be happy to walk you through every phase of the ownership, usage, and care of this or any Bell & Ross fine timepiece.